one thing that we really strive ourselves on, particularly at the University of Queensland's Monarchist League, is really showing that the monarchy is not just for one group of people, not for one race of people, not for one religion of people, it's for all people, all Australians. That's why our next speaker is going to be talking on a very important topic, and that's Rachael Qu from the a reporter of the Epoch Times. The Epoch Times, if you're not aware, is an international independent media company guided by truth and tradition, spanning 35 countries and 21 language editions. It is the most widely distributed Chinese newspaper in the world. We're very fortunate to have her here today to talk to us about the engaging with the Chinese community and identifying the barriers and how we can break them. If you can please put your hands together, Rachael Qu. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. I really salute to your wonderful organization for their preserving tradition and fighting for the sovereignty. Right, before I touch on the topic today, why it's important to engage with the Chinese community, I'd like to give you a very brief introduction about our media. So currently, where's the pointer? The pointer doesn't work really well, so you can see we have 4 major media properties: Chinese Epoch Times, English one, and there are 2 television networks. Next page. Well, Chinese newspaper was published in year 2000 out of a greater need for uncensored news about China. And today you can see we publish in 35 countries. And it's one of the largest overseas Chinese language news media outlets. In Australia, we publish across major capital cities. And we are very proud that we are one of the only 2 Chinese language media outlets totally free from Beijing's influence or control. Next page, thank you. So the English Epoch Times first issue was online in the year 2003. And in recent years, it has gained momentum, a lot of growth. And this year particularly, we recorded, you can see, the 4th highest number of subscribers in USA. While in Australia, we believe with the support of you, we can picking up the momentum. Next page. Well, that's the television network. For the Chinese television, it's called New Tang Dynasty Television. It broadcasted for over 2 decades, reaching over 100 million globally viewers. And for the English NTD News, next page. So it started to launch 7 days a week, 24 hours per day since July 2020. Next page. Yeah, so that's basically this television network. We have a correspondent in the White House as well. Next page. Just click a little bit. Yeah. There are a couple of misconceptions I'd like to make clarification. The first one is that we're often labeled as Falun Gong media. Well, the founders of the publication are a group of Falun Gong practitioners. However, they don't represent Falun Gong. The company is not funded by Falun Gong practitioners. Actually, today, not many, there's some, I'm not sure what the number, but many reporters are not member of Falun Gong community. It's just like in New York Times. It's owned by Jewish family for several decades, but you wouldn't label it as a Jewish paper, right? Click. We're also labeled as anti-China media, particularly by the Beijing government, but not by Taiwanese government. We've been committed to exposing the threat of communism, also the threat of the Chinese Communist Party, also their ongoing campaigns to subvert Western democracy and civilization. So I think we often conflict the terms of China, Chinese people, Chinese government, and Chinese Communist Party, CCP. In all reporting, we always highlight the distinction because it's one of Beijing's tactics to eradicate distinctions, because Xi's tactic is to condition people to view themselves not as member or not as descendants of ancient Chinese civilization, but rather as parts of the ruling machine. So by morphing the perception of the nation, the government, the party into one, Beijing can easily rally people against any foreign criticism. For example, I think 2 weeks ago, Beijing accuses Australia with the systematic racism because our ambassador to UN raised human rights issues. Next one. We're always labeled as far right, but according to All Science Media, it's an independent news rating agency. Actually, you can see we are at center right, around there. Well, we bring some copies today, so you can pick up when you walk away, or you can sign up newsletter for free news. Next page. So, how many of you think, now let's move on the topic. How many of you think it's very important to engage with Chinese community? Oh, quite a few. That's wonderful. So, for over a century, the Chinese individuals, either from mainland China, Taiwan, Cambodia, Vietnam, Hong Kong, they established vibrant community in Australia. Next page. So you see, the first Chinese free settler is in 1818. He was carpenter, actually. And also the gold rush, I'm sure you know. Also the historical visit by Chinese constitutional monarchies in 1900 to today's demographic significance in Australia. I think it's really worthwhile to know who they are, what they do, what they care about. Next page. So according to 2021 census, there are about 1.4 million ethnic Chinese living in Australia. That includes temporary visitors, right? This pie chart shows the country for births, and you can see 40% of this community from mainland China. 30% are born in Australia. So this from Hong Kong, Vietnam, and this Taiwan, 4%. Next page. This pie chart shows the Chinese with Australian citizenship. You can see the number dropped significantly from 535,000 down to 211,000. That means not many Chinese have citizenship. They are just maybe by just a permanent resident, right? So it's counting as 33%. This is the same in Hong Kong, 10%. Taiwan about 4%. So Vietnamese and Malaysia counts 9%, roughly. Next page. And you can see Chinese Mandarin is the most spoken language other than English. Also Cantonese. Most people from Hong Kong, they speak Cantonese. And most people from mainland China, they speak Mandarin. Next page. And this chart shows the growth of ethnic community, of Chinese community. Like in year 2001, only 500,000 of ethnic Chinese living in Australia. But within 20 years, you can see the number now. That's 2021, reaches about 1.4 million. So almost tripled within 20 years. Next page. And across all major capital cities, it recorded this remarkable growth, with Sydney has highest percentage of the growth, and Melbourne followed by Melbourne and Brisbane. Next page. Well, this is pretty important information because I heard a lot of people tell me, particularly from Liberal Party members, they say because Morrison government expresses very strong views about China, and we lost a lot of Chinese voters. But actually, I believe, I will tell you my opinion, that's my view, okay? But you can see this chart shows the top 9 federal electorates with the highest number of Chinese Australians. Bennelong, Banyalong has 24%, Reed, Bradfield, Barton, Banks, Fowler, Parramatta, not Sydney, and Sydney. So this, if you need the figure, I can give it to you anyway. Next page. So these are the suburbs where with highest number of Chinese. Hurstville, you can see Hurstville, 40% population, 47% actually are ethnic Chinese living in Hurstville, followed by Epping, Carlingford, Chatswood, Eastwood, Kempsey, Burwood, Auburn, Castleville. That's top 9 suburbs where most ethnic Chinese live in. Next page. Well, a lot of Chinese immigrate to Australia as skilled immigrants. So this community is characterized by higher level of educational attainment, many of them holding university degrees. And you can guess the jobs they do are really knowledge-based. For example, can you guess what most popular jobs for the ethnic Chinese? Accountant. So almost every 5 accountants in Australia, there should be 1 Chinese. So a lot of people do accounting jobs. Of course, chefs. Chefs, you have many yummy Chinese restaurants, right? Lots of civil engineering, electrical engineering, actuaries, statisticians, general practitioners. So a lot of them are in knowledge-based industries or occupations. Next page. Well, when I talk about barriers, when you're engaging with this community, what comes to your mind? What kind of barrier comes to your mind? Language? It's one, right? But I think I'm from mainland China, and I moved to Australia in year 2007, so about 16 or 17 years ago. And I mainly focus on the Chinese ethnic groups from mainland China. I think there is a key barrier that is their mentality. And this mentality characterized by a sense of awareness and self-protection. I call it survival mechanism. Just imagine a society where they live in, that have seen their children would turn to the enemy, become the enemy of the parents. Students turn against teachers, even beaten teachers to death. Colleagues, families, or neighbors turn against each other. This is exactly the Chinese immigrants who at my age, I'm reaching 60, so it lived through under Mao's era. Next page. So Mao promotes class struggle, right? Mao, famous saying from Mao is fighting against heaven, battling with earth, struggling with people, there lies endless joy. So this philosophy of class struggle instills so much fear and distrust. So the climate of distrust, fear, hostility permeated all aspects of Chinese society. So there is a very short video clip, few seconds. We'll see that one of the traditional musical instruments was trashed, and the master of this instrument was like criticized. Just click next one, the little video.
During China's Cultural Revolution in the 1960s and 70s, the Guixian was banned as part of the campaign to stamp out the 4 olds: old customs, old culture, old habits, and old ideas. Almost all Guixian notes were burned. Only a few hundred pieces remained. Guixian masters were attacked and forced to give up their art.
So that's just a very short video clip of what happened during Cultural Revolution. It really left deep scar in people's heart. I mean, it really definitely impact how they engage with others. They would basically shut their heart, not open their hearts. That's the way they survive. Next page. So when China moved into Deng's era, there is a dominant theory in their economic life. It's called cat theory. In one of his tours to southern part of China, he delivered a remark saying whether it's black cat A white cat, as long as you catch mice, you're a good cat. So it basically interpreted as long as we make money, we don't care how. So I'm sure you have heard of the milk powder scandal, right? A lot of Chinese babies suffer from kidney stone because the milk powder contaminated with melamine. And this is why Australian-made baby formula are so popular in China. Just imagine, big country, they couldn't ensure the food safety for their babies. So this pragmatism actually, when they place economic benefits over ethical business ethics or personal moral values, it really torn the society further apart by distrust. Next page. So in Jiang's area, basically a governed country by corruption. Now corruption is really normalized. Jiang rose to power through his iron fist on student movement. And he is the person who launched the persecution against Falun Gong group. This is a very spiritual group. Before 1999, 1 out of 10 Chinese practice Falun Dafa. Falun Gong promotes truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. Just imagine when the policy persecute these human values. You can see in China under Jiang's era, we can see the moral standards deteriorated at unprecedented level. If today an old man fell to the ground, nobody would care. Nobody would care. They are afraid of being blackmailed. So it happened, it's just not in one provinces, it's all over China. Next page. Now we are living under Xi's age. You know, it turned state into a surveillance, social credit system. If you don't have a good score, you can't buy a train ticket. You can't travel. You can't have a bank card. Basically, you don't have a freedom. This system tells people you live with a caution. So people have a built-in systems. The default stance is a sense of caution for Chinese mentality. So it's very hard for them to engage openly with the people, particularly they don't know. And you can see this surveillance cameras, it's everywhere, right? Next page. So, just keep clicking. So when I talk about how to break these barriers, because they don't open, they are a very closely knit community, and they're not very open. I think one thing is key. One of the key things that we have to use, like the word CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, China, Chinese government, you have to use it correctly. When you criticize government, say the Chinese government or Beijing government, instead of saying China, because China has 5,000 years of civilization, while Chinese Communist Party only came to power in 1949. So you make this distinction. People are very sensitive to hear when you criticize China. If you make that distinction, probably they will understand they are not targeted. Secondly, I would say a very important thing that we need to understand what their priorities in their life. Why they moved to Australia? What really they care about? I think a lot of Chinese came, particularly the rich ones, through open door policy. You can see the expensive properties in Australia. Many of them are Chinese buyers. I think they came to Australia really for economic stability. Chinese people love doing business, and they love money, actually. In their culture, I'm not sure whether other culture has or not, but in Chinese culture, there is a god of money, actually. And I know that because we receive Chinese New Year greetings from politicians, and normally they will say a greeting which has nothing relates to Chinese New Year, but Chinese community love it. 恭喜发财. I think somebody would know that. When have Chinese people say 恭喜发财, actually it doesn't mean Happy New Year. It means I wish you get rich. I wish you make a fortune, you know. So you see people love I think there's nothing wrong with that, but as long as you follow the business ethics, and also maybe that's come to the point. I'm saying when Morrison government is strong about the Chinese COVID pandemic, I think Chinese are very realistic. Think about the suburbs they live, Benelong, those suburbs in northern part of the city. Maybe they invest a lot in properties, right? Maybe they don't like liberals, but they would definitely vote for liberals because Labour push negative gearing, for example. And Chinese always place high importance on the education of children. They don't like safe school. They want family blood carry on. They don't like safe school. So even though they don't like you, they probably will vote for you. So I think this make me question when Liberal claims that they lost a lot of Chinese voters. Actually, I think maybe they need to look at exactly who they are. That's opinion from me, right? Also, recognizing their positive contributions, I think is very important because they do work hard. Chinese really hard-working people, and you see the history, the contributions they made. I think it's worth recognizing their contributions. And last will be visible and active in the community. Probably attend some of their events. Just getting familiar, get more exposure with the community. Probably they will slowly open the heart and to connect with you. So basically that's from me. It's a very short presentation because I won't keep everybody tired. It's lunchtime right now. So anybody got any questions or?
I have a question. There are 114 million Christians in China. I understand from when I look up at the internet. How are the Christians faring in China at the moment? Thank you.
My husband's brother runs a little family underground church, and he was often harassed by the police. Why is that? Because according to Chinese government, the notion of soul is a threat, because the notion of soul has a moral compass, and this kind of a force is independent from government control. If your moral compass directs to the north, and the government directs you to the south, so they definitely want to kill the soul. Any Christians, any religions, you promote the idea of soul. They believe it's a big threat for the country, because they can't control that moral compass. I hope I answered your question.
I had a question for you too.
Yes?
Do you think Chinese Australians would be supportive of our system in the context of the monarchy? Do you think Chinese Australians would be supportive of our system of constitutional monarchy, noting, I guess, perhaps the levels of, authoritarian speech?
Authoritarian state.
Yeah, in China, I know there was a poster held up in Hong Kong at the time of the umbrella protests.
Yeah.
And one of the posters said, "The Queen made us Earl of the Orient, the communists ruined it."
Yes.
Do you think that we could sort of tap into that, we could play into that? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. We just had a King's King's visit from Britain. And you can see I'm checking all the media platforms, Chinese media like WeChat, the social media platforms. They create sensation. They just love the king. They love all the stories about the monarchy. They love the Kate. They love the story about the family. But the thing is, they are lacking knowledge of what is constitutional monarchy is. But in China, as I said, in 1900, the Chinese constitutional monarchist who paid visit, and he saw the Federation of Australia, the formation of the Federation, and he saw the peaceful participation of its people, and he thought it's a very good system. But he was the advisor for the late Qing Emperor Guangxu. But because Cixi was very powerful at that time, and this young monarchist, they have a very young, they don't have like a deep relations. They failed the reform, only lasted for 100 years. I think for the Chinese community, if you look at the Trump's election, I believe a lot of people support Trump because they know Trump brings good economy. I mean, a lot of Chinese, they care about the economy, right? And I believe if they understand more about what is constitutional monarchy, they would definitely embrace the system. Definitely, that's for sure.
So originally, wasn't it an absolute monarchy originally in China?
I don't have that knowledge, but I think when Liang Qichao, who is the constitutional monarchist, promotes the system, he tries to replace the imperial monarchy system to constitutional monarchy system. That's what he tried to do from the history book. So I don't have that much knowledge, but it's really from China.
What role does Epoch Times, what role could it play in the education of the Chinese people locally?
Right, you mean the English or the English?
Whichever, either, both perhaps.
I think for the Chinese, we've been operating for 20 years and we've been winning a lot of loyal readers. And a lot of even Chinese officials jump onto our website for the real news. They know where the media who tells truth. And I think Chinese those who immigrate in Australia and they get a lot of access to free information, they start to realize how important our work are. For the English ones, I think they really tells a lot of stories, like the books that gentleman bought. It really tells how dangerous the communism to Western civilization. It's a big threat. So I think our paper has this obligation and take as a mission to expose that kind of threat, whether it's infiltration, spy network, or subversion, unrestricted warfare, all kinds of things. I think our paper has been dedicated to doing that kind of information about why we should abandon communism. It's really destroy human nature and human values. So that's basically what we do. And we've been targeted, we've been shot by gun when we organized forum in Brisbane, like in 2010 in Brisbane. Our reporters were attacked, our facilities were set on fire. They tried to silence us many years, but we still stand and we grow.
I think we've got 2 more questions.
Hi, sorry, I hope this isn't too off topic, but so you said that Chinese don't understand much about constitutional monarchy. If I may, when did communism start in China? And to the best of my knowledge, just to help maybe my own understanding of your people, so we can better help them with our constitutional monarchy. To the best of my knowledge, your people have a lot of mythological beliefs when it comes to that. So the last constitutional monarchy, I think it was kind of emperors that are blood descendants from like sons of heaven, the same way you said that you've got like gods of money. So, and I completely respect your culture like that, so it's very cool. But when did communism start and your own constitutional monarchy fade out and the differences between that and ours?
Right, it's a very complicated question, but the communism is not from China, it's from Soviet Union, actually. So the Mao generation, that generation, include Deng, they went to Russia or they went to France. So they pick up the socialism ideology from the Western, not embedded in China. China has a culture of Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. That's the belief system sustained this culture for over 5,000 years. But till 1921, when Communist Party was first established, so they imported this socialism into China. Yeah, but I think the book, it's called 9 Commentaries, a serious publication. It tells exactly what it is. Also, the book is called The Spectre of Communism. It tells very clearly its plan to destroy human values and Western civilization. So it has much more information in that. It's a very big topic for me to answer. But thank you for your question.
We have one last question here.
Hi, I just want to correct, the communist is not from Russia, it's actually from French start. So, and I'm Sasha Chen, I'm Chinese, and born like 1990s, so I'm young generation of Chinese.
Right.
I actually just had this listen of your speech. I think it's not quite true now for Chinese parties, If China, as you said, such with dark government and dark party, why last 30 years, China from a very poor country to now the rich country of the world. And people you have seen in China, here probably a lot of people have been traveling to China. You will see in Australia, hardly to see homeless people, that's why, we're looking for an arm-running organization under the European Union also. Yeah, so I am asking for come back to this event to talk about why. What's your opinion about why Chinese people like royal families?
Oh, I think it's actually they love the traditions. The traditions that it's what behind royal journey, their life. I think it's just they're like for their life, it's part of thing that they really enjoy.
I think because we respect.
Also, I respect your opinion, but also I think I'm not criticizing China. I'm criticizing the Chinese government and why they create a culture of distrust. So I'm saying about that. I respect your opinion anyway. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rachael. Thank you.